Austin good to go tonight, Sheldon?
Yeah, he's on the ice right now, but the sense this morning was that he was going to be fine.
Do you, I don't know, plan is the right word, Sheldon, in the final 10 games over the next 3 weeks, maintenance days, that sort of thing, rest now that you've clinched? And I know you want home ice and all that, but do you take that into account a little more now?
Yeah, for sure. You know, I think whether we clinch or not, I mean, we've been having those conversations even before last little bit, just how we're gonna handle things here and having conversations with guys. And I think our group's been feeling pretty good. It just so happens that we've come out of it in the last few days with some very minor things with some guys and managing that. So I think we'll continue to monitor that day to day. Two back to backs remaining here. I had forgotten about the one that was there, but we'll see how that all shakes out. But definitely, we want to be mindful of how the group is feeling, and even with days off and things of that nature. I think we're pretty much in through this month in somewhat of a playoff schedule. In terms of every other day, and this week's got a back to back here this weekend, but then next week or every other day. So we've got to make sure that we're being smart with what we're doing on the ice each day.
With hockey, more than other sports, there seems to be a pride in being available, playing every game. How difficult would it be to have a conversation with a veteran and say, we'd rather you rest this game because we need you? Rest.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the conversations with the veterans are probably harder than anyone else because, I mean, as an example, you look out on the ice here right now, and Mark Giordano is the only defenseman on the ice skating, and it's because he feels that, in particular at his age, that the more he skates, the better he feels. The more he plays, the better he feels, and the more time away he takes, body doesn't feel so good. It takes a while to get it back going. So the older players, Spez is the same way. Joe Thornton, when we had him here last year, same way. These guys want to keep moving, and they think it takes them longer to get fired back up again. So those conversations for those kind of guys are a little more difficult, but we do have to be smart about it, but mindful of how they feel at the same time. And maybe it's more about managing their minutes versus giving them actual days or nights off. So we got to sort through that. Obviously, in Giordano's case, we're still getting to know him, but the conversations I've had with him about this very thing, about how he feels and days off and practices off and things like that, he wants no part of it because he just feels it actually is a detriment to him in terms of how he feels and functions on the ice.
Knowing Austin as you do you expect him to be fired up for tonight's game based on how the last game against Buffalo went?
I hadn't given it any thought, to be honest. I don't think Austin's need any extra motivation or fire lately. He's finding that himself, no matter who the opponent is. So I don't have any questions about whether or not he'll be ready to play tonight.
What about your team in general, having lost 2 in a row to them, including that outdoor game? How much motivation do you think that gives them?
Yeah, I mean, we're hopeful that is something that kind of sparks our guys here. These are the kind of games that can be challenging. We were just coming off clinching the playoff spot, and you got a non-playoff team coming in. But yeah, they've taken points from us for sure. We want to continue to refine our game. We think we're playing some of our best hockey this season right now. So lots of reasons for us to believe that we'll be better than we have been. But certainly these are the types of games that have been a problem for us, not just against Buffalo, but others. So, like I said, I feel like our team's in a good spot right now. But puck will drop, and we'll have to make sure we're ready.
Sheldon, Austin started the season as a superstar. What's it like to see a superstar go to another level like he's done the last 2 months?
It's just been so fun to watch, and just watch how our team has embraced it. How we talked about it the other day when we were in here. I mean, he gets 50, which is a great accomplishment. He does it here on home ice, and then we go on the road for a week or so, play 4 games, and come back, and he's sitting at 56, and then he gets his 50th goal in 50 games, and that's great. But then 20 seconds later, he's shooting another one in the net. I mean, he's finding other levels, continuing to raise the bar for himself. And then the goal scoring and all that has been getting a ton of attention, as it very well should. But Austin does a ton of things when he's not scoring that help our team win. And the way Mitch Marner has played, like these performances from these guys here this season, in particular this last stretch, is just pushing our team to another level.
Sheldon, you've spoken in the past about how you like to learn from other coaches in other sports and stuff like that. How much interaction have you had with Nick Nurse over the last couple of years, maybe?
Yeah, we've chatted on the phone, we exchanged text messages and stuff like that. So he's been a really good resource for me. Obviously, a guy came in, at a time, was an assistant coach and got the head coaching job, and then took that team to win a championship. So I've been fortunate to be able to share some conversations with him and learn from him and the process he's gone through and succeeding in this market and those kind of things. So yeah, it's been great.
Owen Power hasn't played in the NHL yet, but I know you were watching the Olympics for Brazil. What sort of impression has he made on you even before he's reached this point?
Yeah, I mean, just super talent, size, skill, poise, a lot of similarities to Rasmus Dahlin, I think, in terms of how they move and the presence that they have on the ice. So, yeah, he's another exciting young player for them to bring into their fold.
A lot of fans are curious about Matt Nyes. Have you watched any tape on him? What do you know about him?
Yeah, I've watched, mainly highlights. I haven't dug in on it too much. Our player development staff and Kyle and such has really taken the lead on that. But it's obviously a player we're excited about. He's had a monster season in college hockey, and not just in college hockey, but World Juniors, Olympics. He's really made his mark. So, we're very excited about him, have him in the organization. They're obviously going through a process right now and sorting through what's going to be the next step for him. But my focus, of course, remains what's happening here, and when the time is right for him, the team, of course, would welcome him, whether it's this season or down the line, whatever it might be. They're going to go through that process.
The power play has been excellent for most of this year. William is right up there with Austin in terms of the power play points. What have you liked about the way he's operated in the context of this year's top unit?
Yeah, all those guys have just played off each other really well. I think they've done a nice job of taking the information, the plan that Spencer lays out for them each day, but then also just being on the ice and making reads and taking what's there when it's their turn to shoot it or their turn to make a play. They're executing, and they've been very consistent in that sense. So I think obviously our power play, because of that, because of the nature of the fact that we have so many different threats, it's made us very dynamic, and we've been consistent with it this season, and it's been easy to do so because of how the guys have executed. And Will's a guy that's moved around and played in different spots and has been very effective no matter how we've used him.